Call to order. Regular meeting of the Laramie City Council, April 2nd, 2024. If you'd like, please join us in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. City Clerk, if you can call the roll, please.
Gabriel.
Here.
Newman.
Here.
O'Doherty. Here. Pierce.
Here.
Richardson. Here. Shumway.
Here.
Somerville.
Here.
Cumby.
Here.
Harrington. Absent, that's 8 present and 1 absent, Your Honor.
Thank you, City Clerk. Next, we'd like to open it for public comment from anyone in the audience. If anyone has public comment on non-agenda items, please come to the podium. Seeing none, I turn it over to Councilor Pierce.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. I move that the agenda be set as submitted.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Next are proclamations for the evening. I'll start with the National Public Safety Telecommunicators Week proclamation, April 14 through April 20. Whereas the city of Laramie is a political subdivision of the state of Wyoming, and whereas emergencies can occur at any time that require police, fire, or emergency medical services, and whereas the Laramie City Council is committed to providing a high-quality emergency communication system to the residents of the region, and whereas the safety of our police officers, firefighters, and EMS responders is dependent upon the quality and accuracy of information obtained from citizens who use the 911 system, and whereas the Laramie City Council recognizes the professional and unending services of the 911 emergency communications operators who answer 911 calls on a daily basis, and whereas the 911 communications operators are the link between people calling for help in an emergency situation and the emergency response agencies who arrive on that scene, and whereas the 911 emergency communications operators are the true backbone of the 911 system, and whereas the President of the United States has historically acknowledged the second week of April as National Public Safety Telecommunications Week, and therefore be it resolved that on behalf of the 911 emergency communications operators in Albany County, Wyoming, the Laramie City Council hereby declares the week of April 14 through 20, 2024 to be National Safety Telecommunicators Week, and encourages all local governments to sign a similar resolution, and all 911 emergency communications centers are encouraged to celebrate this week with appropriate activities and commemorations. Resolution adopted by the Albany County Commission on the second day of April 2024. And I'd like to invite Assistant Chief Terry to come up to the podium.
Thank you, Council, members of the public online, and the members of the public in the audience. I'm Robert Terry. I'm the Assistant Chief of Police for the Laramie Police Department, and as you can see, I'm joined by quite a few of our dispatchers, as well as Chief Brown and a couple other officers. I present you a proclamation today for your consideration for the National Public Safety Telecommunications Week. As you know, our dispatchers dispatch for not just the Laramie Police Department, but also the Albany County Sheriff's Office, the fire, and EMS. And they really are the voice of calm and reason when people are calling in and need help. They literally answer thousands of calls every year. If it's okay with the council, I'd like to recognize the members of our dispatch team individually and maybe talk a little bit about their years of service. Currently, we do have 11 dispatchers. They range in experience from 25 plus years down to approximately 3 or 4 months. Some of these members are also present tonight as well. I'm going to start off in order of seniority. Starting off is Stacy Gonzalez. Ms. Gonzalez has been with us for over 25 years. Rebecca Simpson, she's been with us for over 20 years. Yancey Brown, who's present tonight with Ms. Simpson, and he's been with us for over 20 years as also. We have Heather Davis, Sarah Felton, who's present, Samantha Vigil, who's also present, McGuire Thiel, Braylon Levins, who's present, Brenna Roberts. And those dispatchers are supervised by 2 dispatch supervisors, and they're also present tonight, and they are Kim Meyer and Jennifer Graham. To celebrate this year, I've had the opportunity to supervise, if you will, our dispatch center and our records since approximately August of 2023. It's been an incredible experience, and it was pretty challenging, but in a good way. I've learned to love these people and to respect what they do, and I'd like to present our dispatchers with a plaque that I had a friend and a former coworker, Josh Anderson, make for us. If the council allows it, I'd like to present that to them at the podium, if that's possible.
Assistant Chief, do you want to get a picture with everyone and to come up here and we stand behind, or?
I would love a picture
Okay.
with the council and the flag.
Okay. Thank you very much, and congratulations. We have a second proclamation this evening on Child Abuse Awareness and Prevention Month. Whereas children are our future, no child should suffer abuse and neglect. And whereas victims of child abuse and neglect are known to be at higher risk for experiencing post-traumatic stress disorder, depression, low academic achievement, drug use, juvenile delinquency, teenage pregnancy, and adult criminality, every child is precious and deserves to grow up in a healthy, safe, nurturing environment free from harmful effects of abuse and neglect. And whereas an estimated 1,000 children in Wyoming are victims of abuse and neglect each year, and whereas effective child abuse intervention and community prevention programs succeed because of partnerships created among community members, social services, and law enforcement agencies, schools, churches, businesses, and civic organizations. And whereas each April, Child Advocacy Centers of Wyoming, the Children's Trust Fund Board, Prevent Child Abuse Wyoming, Wyoming Citizen Review Panel, the Wyoming Department of Family Services, the Wyoming Office of Attorney General, Division of Victim Services, the Wyoming GAL Program, the City of Laramie, Wyoming, and other partners joined together in an effort to prevent abuse and neglect through outreach, education, and intervention. Now, therefore, be it resolved that I, on behalf of Mayor Harrington, acting as Vice Mayor of the governing body of the City of Wyoming, Laramie, do hereby proclaim the month of April 2023 as Child Abuse Awareness and Prevention Month, in witness whereof I have hereunto set my hand and caused the official seal of the City of Laramie to be affixed this second day of April 2024. And I would invite Katrina Price from the Wyoming Department of Family Services to come to the podium and say a few words if you'd like and accept the proclamation.
Hi, I'm Katrina Price. I am the District Manager for District 2 for the Wyoming Department of Family Services. District 2 encompasses Albany and Carbon counties, so I'm the Program Manager for those programs in our area. Thank you for recognizing Child Abuse Awareness and Prevention Month. Together with our partners, we have spent a lot of time refocusing on child abuse prevention and awareness. As you know, we, as a department, we investigate child abuse and neglect, and we have increasingly focused on prevention with our partners across the state, which you just mentioned a whole litany of them. It's very important in the community to work together. We've been doing that really well in Albany County, and I'm very proud of our programs here. And I think that that's probably pretty much it. I want to thank you very much for recognizing Child Abuse Prevention and Awareness Month. The department we work very hard at keeping families safe at home, providing opportunities for success for families, and helping the people that help the families. We're very grateful to our police department and so many people in this community that have really helped make our prevention efforts a success. So thank you.
Thank you. Ms. Price, Would you like to come up and have a picture with council and receive the proclamation, or?
Sure.
Twist her arm.
I had one of my staff retire today after 40 years.
Oh, my goodness.
Okay, well, one more.
I was thinking.
There you go.
And you just want me to hold this out?
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Appreciate your work.
Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you for coming.
Absolutely. It's a pleasure. Thank you for asking.
Next, I'll turn it over to our city clerk for the public hearing.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. Notice is hereby given that between the 8th day of January 2024 and the municipal due date of 15th day of February 2024, the following applications for renewal of liquor licenses were received in the office of the city clerk of the city of Laramie, Wyoming, for the following. And I'm not going to list them all out, but as described in the public hearing notice, which includes all current liquor license holders minus Maria's Mexican Grill and Cantina, which you'll see on the 16th. And then we'll just end it with a public hearing to hear comments and protests relative to the renewal of these licenses will be held Tuesday, April 2nd, 2024 at 6:30 p.m. in council chambers of City Hall, 406 Ivinson Avenue, and via Zoom. Licenses will be considered for renewal at the regular meeting of the City Council on Tuesday, April 2nd, 2024 at 6:30 p.m. In council chambers, 406 Ivinson Avenue, and via Zoom. All information relative to this matter is available for review at the City of Laramie City Clerk's office at 406 Ivinson Avenue, Laramie, Wyoming. Anyone wishing to be heard should be present or may be represented by his or her agent at the meeting.
Thank you. Next, City Manager, do you have any announcements tonight?
Mayor, there is one announcement from Public Works. Oh, sorry, whoops.
Oh, we didn't ask for any comments on the public
Oh,
hearing.
I'm sorry.
That's okay.
Thank you. Are there any comments on the public hearing? Is there anyone online? Seeing none, we'll move on to announcements.
Thank you, Mayor. One announcement from Public Works.
Vice Mayor, City Council, just wanted to let you know, in case you haven't seen yet, our contractor is back on 3rd Street to complete the water line project. They're going to be working between Palmer Drive and Russell Street this summer. Plan is that they will be completed by July and be out of our hair, and we'll have a new water line. It'll be fantastic. Anyway, the great thing about this summer is the contractors worked really hard to set up a traffic control plan that will not completely close 3rd Street. There'll be two-way traffic throughout the project. There'll be some lane shifting as work continues on, but the roadway will be open for traffic two-way. As part of the project, Palmer Street between 2nd and 3rd is closed for the next 2 weeks. It's just one little short block section there. We've worked with the property owners there and let them know, but then it should be open up after that first 2 weeks. Thanks.
Thank you, Director Webb. Are there any disclosures or ex parte communications by City Council members? Then I turn it over to Councilor Pierce.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. I move that the consent agenda be approved and that each specific action on the consent agenda be approved as indicated.
Second.
City Clerk, can you call the roll?
Gabriel.
Yes.
Newman.
Yes.
O'Doherty.
Yes.
Pierce.
Yes.
Richardson.
Yes.
Shumway.
Yes.
Somerville.
Yes.
Cumby.
Yes. Yes.
Harrington, absent. That's 8 yeses and 0 nos, Your Honor.
Thank you, City Clerk. Item number 11, Councilor Gabriel.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. I move to approve Resolution 2024-28, amending appropriations for the fiscal year 2023-24 biennium budget of the City of Laramie, Wyoming, and approve Amendment Number 05 to the Professional Engineering Services Agreement for the Sea Line Sanitary Sewer Project in the amount of $1,138,791 and a contingency of $113,209, and authorize the mayor and clerk to sign.
Second.
Director Webb.
Vice Mayor, City Council, Sea Line Sanitary Sewer Project continuation, Phase 1 was completed a couple years ago. That was between 2nd Street and Hancock, down to the intersection of 6th Street and Canby intersection. Phase 2, you awarded last year. That is on 6th Street between Canby and Ivinson. That construction should start up shortly and go throughout the summer. The next phase of this project is 6th to 9th Street, and then on Ivinson, and then the phase after that is 9th Street to 15th Street. Is what we're doing tonight, is we'd like to design that all together at the same time with the same design firm that has done Phase 1 and Phase 2, which is Tri-Hydro. The next portion of this project is a little more complex than the first two phases, in that this one also has water, storm sewer, street, the whole shebang. So big design here. We're hoping to get them moving so that we can do the 6th to 9th construction next summer, and then the 9th to 15th would follow the following summer. Anyway, Tri-Hydro is the company that we've worked with on the previous phases of this project. Staff worked with them to provide a cost for the design on the next phase. And so staff is recommending this amendment to their current professional services agreement. I'll take questions if you have them.
Council, any questions? Seeing none, I'll open it for public comment. Are there any public comments? If you're in the audience, please come to the podium. If you're online, raise your hand. Seeing none, I'll return to the council for comments. Seeing none, City Clerk, call for the vote.
Gabriel.
Yes.
Newman.
Yes.
O'Doherty.
Yes.
Pierce.
Yes.
Richardson.
Yes.
Shumway.
Yes.
Somerville.
Yes.
Cumby.
Yes.
Harrington, absent. That's 8 yeses, 0 nos, and 1 absent, Your Honor.
Thank you, City Clerk. Item 12, Councilor Newman.
Thank you. I move to approve Resolution 2024-29, authorizing submission of an application to the State Loan and Investment Board for a loan through the State Revolving Fund for $9,500,000 to fund the West Laramie Lift Station project, and authorize the mayor and city clerk to sign.
Second.
Director Webb.
Yeah, Vice Mayor, City Council, the West Laramie Lift Station's been in our capital plan for a few years now, and our financial plan. We've always planned to do a state revolving fund loan on this project, as it's a large project, as you can see. The West Laramie Lift Station is actually located just outside of the wastewater treatment plant, and it's what gets the waste up the hill to the plant. Services about 10,000 properties on the west side of Laramie. The city staff has actually already started working on this application. The applications are pretty lengthy and complex. But to submit that application, we need authorization from City Council to do so. We'll probably wrap up the application and submit in May. It's due, I think, mid-June, and then the actual SLIB meeting for this application will be in October. So with that, I'll take any questions if you have them.
Councilors, are there any questions for Director Webb? Councilor Richardson.
Thank you. I'm just curious if you all have a sense of, is this one of those projects that generally goes through pretty easily, or do you have a sense of the SLIB board this time around? I know there's been some. What's your sense on this grant application?
Yeah, Councilor Richardson, through you, Vice Mayor. Generally, since I've been here, the state revolving fund loans have not been an issue. When you get into the grants, they're much, much more competitive, and that's where we've run into some trouble. I will tell you, though, that talking with Office of State Land staff, that the state revolving funds for the clean water side, which is what this is, are kind of low this year. So depending on how many applications they receive, there could be some competitiveness there. We actually have a meeting with SRF and Office of State Land staff tomorrow, and I'm hoping to have a better sense of that then. But generally, the SRF, because their loans aren't as competitive as the grant side of things.
Thank you for clarifying, and for clarifying the difference between the two. Thanks.
Yeah.
Are there any other questions from council? I open it for public comment. If you're in the audience, please come to the podium. If you're online, please raise your hand. Seeing none, I return to the council for any comments. Councilor O'Doherty.
I just want to thank our staff for being on the lookout for these opportunities and reaching out to get that loan. I think it's really important that we get our sewer lines to the waste treatment plant. Thank you, Brooks and team.
Any other comments? Call for the vote.
Newman.
Yes.
Richardson.
Yes.
Shumway.
Yes.
Somerville.
Yes.
Gabriel.
Yes.
O'Doherty.
Yes.
Pierce.
Yes.
Cumby.
Yes.
Harrington, absent. That's 8 yeses, 0 nos, and 1 absent, Your Honor.
Thank you, City Clerk. Item number 13, Councilor Richardson.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. I move that the Laramie City Council approve Resolution 2024-30, supporting beautification of the 3rd Street corridor, and authorize the mayor and clerk to sign.
Second.
Assistant City Manager Fieser.
Vice Mayor, City Council, what you have before you tonight is a resolution appropriate some funding towards 3rd Street beautification. If I take you back to 2023-15, it appropriated about $270,105 for 3rd Street beautification, which was part of related to the removal of islands and some other work that we'd done. In conjunction with Laramie Main Street and Laramie Public Art Coalition, we used that money and applied for a NEA grant, our town grant, which we haven't heard from yet. But as I take you back a little bit further, there's Resolution 2019-58, which was Snowy Range Bridge enhancements. That resolution provided funding for art installations, of which the first installation's going on. We're getting ready to make a call for the second one. 3 solar-powered LED streetlights, which I believe have been completed. Landscaping, which we plan to use to replace some of the trees that have died this year. And then west side fencing, which has been completed. As you drive over the Snowy Range Road Bridge and look to the south, you'll see that west side fencing, which is a project I led. I think it's amazing. So, but the one project that's left there is the 42-inch pedestrian rail, which is not supported by city engineering staff, nor YDOT, nor data does it support any need for this pedestrian railing. The intent of this is to try to use that beautification money from one area of town that was allocated that's not necessarily needed and provide it to 3rd Street to build up some funding that's probably going to be, by all estimations, maybe half of what we need to do 3rd Street beautification. That's the intent of the resolution. I'll be happy to answer any questions you may have.
Thank you, Assistant City Manager. Councilors, are there any questions for Mr. Fieser? Seeing none, I would invite public comment. If you're in the audience, please come to the podium. If you're online, raise your hand. Oh. Nancy Sendelar, I could not see you.
I'm hiding behind a big man. I'm Nancy Sindelar. I'm interested in the 3rd Street project. Wanted to bring up one little problem that we may have to put a little money towards, and that is the concrete is spalling. That's like water gets underneath and it freezes and pops the surface off. Behind where the shoe store that's currently vacant is, and it also fills up with ice. Somebody needs to be keeping, because it's always in shadow, somebody needs to be keeping on that. In July of last year, a resolution was passed that said that we were going to have another meeting on 321 3rd Street with WIDOT, with the Traffic Safety Commission. I'm hoping that's moving on. And I hope you all remember that last January, I sent you all some work I did on the economic changes that will happen if we can slow 7 blocks of 3rd Street. The difference between how valuable 3rd Street and 2nd Street are in comparison to each other, same width, a lot of things, traffic lights, the same, except it's slower on 2nd Street. And even the 2 sides of 3rd Street, there's like a huge difference in the value because people will go on 2nd, they'll walk around, but they won't cross. We've got to slow that down. So, I'm done.
Thank you, Ms. Sindelar. Any other public comment? Seeing none, I turn it back over to council for comments. City Clerk, call for the vote.
O'Doherty.
Yes.
Pierce.
Yes.
Richardson.
Yes.
Gabriel.
Yes.
Newman.
Yes.
Shumway.
Yes.
Somerville.
No.
Cumby.
Yes.
Harrington, absent. That's 7 yeses, 1 no, and 1 absent, Your Honor.
Thank you, City Clerk. Item number 14, Councilor Pierce.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. I move to approve the 3rd Amendment to the Letter of Understanding between the City and Union Pacific Railroad. Approve Resolution 2024-31, amending the fiscal year 2024 budget, and authorize the mayor and city clerk to sign both items, and authorize the city manager to sign all documents necessary to close the transaction.
Second.
Thank you.
Vice Mayor and Council, I'm very pleased to bring this before Council. This has been a lot of work to get this transaction done, and it was a real team effort. Brooks Webb, Malia Brown, Jen Wade on the money side, legal help from Corey Lewis and Thomas Sott. And we've been at it for a couple of years. To review, and Brooks Webb will speak if you want to understand the importance of City Springs and its place in our water system, but it's absolutely critical. And we started off this transaction trying to just purchase from Union Pacific just the real estate itself, the 22 acres with that little reservoir on it that we drive by every day. And then UP said to us, you know what, we want out. We want to sell everything. So that moved it from just the 23 acres of real estate to, and I didn't even know that this existed, it's just me, the 2-mile-long pipeline from City Springs down to the rail yards. They said, we want to sell that too, and we want to sell our water rights, and we want to sell everything associated with our water rights. So let's work on that transaction. And so that's what we've been doing for a good year. And UP has been extremely good to work with, but they're a big organization, and it took a lot of time to work through every one of these issues, but we succeeded. So I'll answer questions, but the motion in front of you is to approve this transaction and allow the city manager to sign the documents that need to be signed to close a real estate transaction.
Thank you, City Attorney. Councilors, are there any questions for Mr. Southard? All right. Then I turn it over to the public. Are there any public comments? Seeing none, I return it back to council for comments. Councilor Shumway.
Thank you. Thank you, Your Honor. I want to hurry and vote yes before there's any chance of this being taken away from us.
Are there any other comments? I just want to say this is a very exciting moment. Thank you to all who have worked so hard toward this outcome. City Clerk, call for the vote.
Gabriel.
Yes.
Newman.
Yes.
O'Doherty.
Yes.
Pierce.
Yes.
Richardson.
Yes.
Shumway.
Yes.
Somerville.
Yes.
Cumby.
Yes.
Harrington. Absent. That's 8 yeses and 0 noes and 1 absent, Your Honor.
Thank you, City Clerk. We move on to yay! Item 15, Councilor O'Doherty.
I move to approve original ordinance number 2085, adding Laramie Municipal Code, Chapter 2.70, creating the Laramie Human Rights and Relations Commission on third and final reading, and authorize the mayor and city clerk to sign.
Second.
Second by Councilor Pierce.
Thank you, Mayor and Council. This is, as you said, third reading. This is the final reading that would implement the Laramie Human Rights and Relations Commission, and you have had ample opportunity and many votes previously, so I won't say much more other than to answer questions that you might have. Subsequent to this motion, if it passes, you will have a resolution to look at the bylaws.
Thank you, City Manager. Councilors, are there any questions at this time? Seeing none, I'll turn it over for public comment. If you're online, raise your hand. Seeing none, I return it back to council for comments. Are there any comments? City Clerk, call for the vote.
O'Doherty.
Yes.
Pierce.
Yes.
Richardson.
Yes.
Newman.
Yes.
Gabriel.
Yes.
Shumway.
Yes.
Somerville.
Yes.
Cumby.
Yes.
Harrington. Absent. That's 8 yeses, 0 noes, and 1 absent, Your Honor.
Thank you, City Clerk. Item number 16, Councilor O'Doherty.
I move to approve Resolution 2024-32, establishing bylaws for the Human Rights and Relations Commission, and authorize the mayor and city clerk to sign.
Second.
Second by Councilor Pierce.
Thank you, Council. So this is the companion item, of course, to the adoption of the ordinance. This would establish bylaws for the Human Rights and Relations Commission. Just walking you through those bylaws and hitting some of the high points. The commission will be comprised of 7 members, including a city council liaison and the city manager as ex officio or non-voting members. The commission will hold a regular meeting at least quarterly and could meet more frequently as needed under the bylaws. The body will agree to use Robert's Rule of Order as the parliamentary rules for the commission, and may amend these bylaws at a future date by majority vote of the commission, then ratified or approved by the city council. I would also point out that the commission is tasked with providing an annual report under these bylaws. That report would be due in January, and the secretary of the commission obliged to file that report with the city clerk, detailing the activities that the commission would have undertaken in the previous calendar year. And then, of course, we would make that report available publicly and to you as elected officials also. If you have any other questions on the bylaws, I'm happy to answer them. The bylaws are pretty simple and straightforward at this time, leaving room for future changes as might be needed.
Thank you, City Manager. I turn it over to council for comments. Councilor O'Doherty.
I want to thank our staff for their work on this, the city manager and Brandon Moen. Thank you. Oh, I don't think it was Brandon. I don't know if anybody else. I appreciate it.
If I could, Vice Mayor, thank you. Councilor O'Doherty, for reminding me, I meant to thank Brandon Moen, our management analyst in the city manager's office, who actually started the research on this item as an intern before becoming an employee of the city. So he's really been able to see this from the very beginning to tonight, which, thank you, Brandon.
Any other questions or comments? I turn it over to the public. Are there any public comments? If you're online, raise your hand. Seeing none, I return back to council. Are there any other comments? City Clerk, call for the vote.
Somerville.
Yes.
Shumway.
Yes.
Richardson.
Yes.
Pierce.
Yes.
O'Doherty.
Yes.
Newman.
Yes.
Gabriel.
Yes.
Cumby.
Yes.
Harrington, absent. That's 8 yeses, 0 nos, and 1 absent, Your Honor.
Thank you, City Clerk. Item number 17, Councilor Shumway.
Thank you, Your Honor. I would move to approve original ordinance number 2084 on first reading, rezoning approximately 4.1 acres of Lot 1, Block 1 of the Boulder addition from O District O to Limited Business District B1 in accordance with findings of fact and conclusions of law and in conformity with the 2013 Turner Track Area Plan.
Second.
Second by Councilor Gabriel.
Honorable Vice Mayor, Council. Today I'm here to propose a new zoning for an area just on the corner of Boulder and Beach Street. It's on the southeast corner of Boulder and Beach Street. Currently, it is primarily dominated by a detention pond, but if you all remember the Cornerstone apartments that were proposed earlier this year, the original zoning was in conjunction with that project. As things turned out, that project was not funded, and they did not get the tax credits that they were hoping for, and so they decided to not move forward with the rezoning effort. However, in accordance with the Turner Tract master plan, that area has been designated as a future use of multifamily, and so the city decided to move forward with the rezoning. As you can see, it's that small corner on the southwest portion of that lot. Originally, the rezoning proposal that went to Planning Commission included the entire parcel, which turned out to be a little bit contentious. A lot of people in the area were concerned that the entire parcel would be developed. There was some confusion about what O District is. O District is not a holding zone for just open space. It's a holding zone for rezoning in the future according to future needs. And so a lot of people were reading into it as open space essentially in perpetuity, which it is not. That being said, the parcel, with the exception of the area that's being rezoning, isn't really at risk of being developed. That detention pond is a vital part of our stormwater system in that area and would likely cost millions to either underground, relocate, or remove. And so in order to pass this in a way that Planning Commission felt more comfortable with, they asked for exactly what was in the Turner Track plan, which was just that corner that had been designated as multifamily. So what you see is a B1 zoning district, which is in conformance with the lot to the south of it, that can be developed as a commercial space or as a multifamily under a conditional use permit, which does go before Planning Commission again. But ultimately, this is still city property, and you all decide which direction it goes, because the sale ultimately goes through you all. And I'm ready for any questions if you have any.
Thank you. Councilors, are there any questions? Councilor Pierce?
Yeah, remind me what other zoning works for multifamily?
R2 and R3.
And we opted for B1 because?
B1 allows more flexibility and more oversight of a multifamily development. It conforms with the lot to the south, and it doesn't create island zoning. There wouldn't be an area that's directly next to this parcel that would be zoned either R2 or R3.
So tell me, in addition to multifamily, what also is included with B1?
So a fair variety of commercial, which I can't, off the top of my head, I don't know the entire list, unfortunately.
Just give me a couple of headlines.
You know, small strip shopping centers. I will say this as well, that area is within the Turner Tract overlay zone, and the Turner Tract overlay zone disqualifies certain types of uses. During Planning Commission, they were very concerned about potentially a liquor store going across from the high school, and that is not a permitted use within this overlay zone. But if you'd like, I can certainly include an entire list of everything that of uses that can occur on this in the next staff report.
Thanks.
Councilor Newman, and then
There's a great article on our city website that has everything from bed and breakfasts to membership clubs like gyms, and but it's more like shopping centers and offices is what it's mostly used for. So I didn't have a question. I just wanted to clarify that.
Thank you, Councilor Newman. Councilor O'Doherty.
I'm glad that you subdivided it the way you did, because I think that detention pond is critical, and I hope it never turns into anything else, because we're getting a lot more flooding, and that I think there was inadequate detention ponds upstream of it until those went in. So is there but I was wondering about that north-south boundary. I couldn't tell from the topo. So does it slope down to the east of that shaded area? Is it still sloping down to the detention pond, or is it level with that shaded area? Or should I just look on?
Just a point of clarification, do you mean that northern boundary of the?
No, eastern, sorry. Yeah, right where the cursor is, that area there. I was just wondering why it didn't extend over some, and it's probably has to do with the slope there. Is that what's going on, or just?
So as Planning Commission requested, it was mimicking exactly what was in the Turner Track master plan. In that plan, it aligns with the lot that will eventually be a path that leads from Little Moon Trail. And so we just followed that line because they felt more comfortable with that. That area to the south, you kind of see that from essentially the middle of the west boundary line to the bottom corner of the east boundary line. It's kind of this angle, and that's kind of the delineation point between what was calculated as part of the function of the detention pond and what wasn't.
Perfect.
They were concerned that that little portion right there would also be developed, and they didn't want that.
Great, I agree. Thank you, and I found the topo. Thanks.
Any other questions? So, thank you. I'll turn it over for public comment. Are there any public comments? Seeing none, return to council for any further comments. I just want to say that I was in attendance at the Planning Commission meeting, and they engaged in a very robust discussion of this. And we also had a member of the public who lives across from the property come in and express how there's kind of an assumption by the public that open means open space. And so my comment would be, I'm wondering if we want to look at that in the future, if that, to see if we might need to change that open to be something else so that people don't interpret that they've just bought property across from open space. So, but they did consider this very carefully and vote unanimously in approval. All right. City Clerk, call for the vote.
Shumway.
Yes.
Somerville.
Yes.
Richardson.
Yes.
Newman.
Yes.
Pierce.
No.
O'Doherty.
Yes.
Gabriel.
Yes.
Cumby.
Yes.
That's 7, and Harrington is absent. So 7 yeses, 1 no, and 1 absent, Your Honor.
Thank you, City Clerk. And I'd like to open it up for public comment on non-agenda items. Seeing none. Council, do you have any suggestions or considerations for future council work sessions? Seeing none, I turn it over to Councilor Pierce.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. I move that we adjourn to executive session regarding litigation, Wyoming Statute 16-4-405, lowercase a, Roman numeral 3.
Second.
Aye.
Aye.
All right. That concludes our meeting.